Auckland Council should be secretly filming and cracking down on people who are going into closed parts of the Waitakere ranges, says a conservation group. Most of the tracks in the ranges are supposed to be closed to stop the spread of the fatal Kauri dieback that threatens to wipe out the forest. But an audit by a local conservation group has discovered tracks that should be closed but are still open, tracks missing crucial biosecurity measures, and evidence that plenty of people are still going bush. Rowan Quinn and camera operator Claire Easton-Farrelly took a look at some examples with Kauri campaigner Mels Barton.
I just think, how long has it been standing there? You know, what has that tree seen change? How privileged are we to still have that here?
Just a few minutes from suburban West Auckland, lawns and pavements turn to forest, with ancient kauri dotted along shaded roadsides, the odd driveway disappearing up into the bush. This one is a particularly fine specimen, a trunk so wide the arms of any tree huggers would barely break into a curve.
It's probably, I don't know, it's probably over 1,000 years old, I'd say, that tree. It's enormous.
It's feeding a whole ecosystem up there as well.
It is a whole ecosystem up there. The birds and their epiphytes. It's a whole world depends upon that tree, just that one tree.
The Waitakere Ranges have a wild heart but an urban fringe, and that's part of the challenge of curbing Kauri dieback. Mels Barton is on the community's front line as part of the conservation group, the Waitakere Rahui team. She has a special permit from the iwi, Te Kawarau Amaki, to enter the forest to carry out her work.
You're aiming for lickable clean.
Right, gotcha. Could eat my dinner off these.
Yeah.
And I think that's something a lot of people wouldn't realise, would they? Just the extent that you have to go to.
Just one tiny speck of soil's enough to spread Kauri dieback spores, so meticulous shoe scrubbing's a familiar routine for Mels and the 20 or so volunteers she's been working with to inspect every track covered by the Rahui.
Okay, how's that looking?
Yep, that's good.
Okay.
They found in the few tracks that were allowed to be open, there were often shortcomings in the biosecurity measures, like no signs or walk-through shoe cleaning stations. But they also found evidence of people skirting around obvious barriers or forming new makeshift tracks. Mel says that carries a maximum fine of $20,000 and the council's not making use of it.
Put some covert cameras on there, actually, you know, make some examples of people that are brazenly breaching this and publicise them.
The audit also found at least 14 tracks that should be closed but are not. There are no fences, no signs, nothing to indicate not to go in there. Tracks like this one, close to houses, and that 1,000-year-old Kauri. It's a tiny track, but Mel says that shouldn't matter.
There's tree roots, there's debris, there's soil, there's mud. This is not a high-quality track. This is not up to standard.
There are homes and stuff here, so it's actually quite feasible that people could be coming in, right?
Oh, there's plenty of private properties along this road, so, you know, I'm sure they'll all be using this track. Yeah, here. Yeah. So, right. Yeah. Yeah. So, follow down here. Climb. Yep.
Across near Bethel's Beach, Te Henga is perhaps the most famous Waitakere's track, the 70-kilometre long Hillary Trail. It's one that's allowed to be partially open, but you'd never know there were worries about Kauri dieback here. There are no signs and no cleaning station. As summer approaches, Mels and her volunteers are worried.
That people have forgotten, that they don't remember that the forest is closed, that they don't know how it is that they're supposed to behave. And, you know, the council needs to be out there in people's faces. We need to have big signs on the roads. We need to have a full-on marketing campaign.
The council says the Bethel's end of the Hillary Trail does not contain Kauri, so it's not covered by its closure measures. It says at other places along the trail there is extensive info. Its manager of regional parks, Rachel Callagher, says the council does have a small number of cameras on the track network and it was sizing up where to put more of a physical compliance presence.
At this stage, we don't have any particular individuals that are lined up, but we're certainly seeing that there are some tracks where we've got more of an issue than others.
She says decisions about heavy-duty fines were in the hands of the Ministry for Primary Industries, although the council could prosecute people for trespass. Ms Kelleher says the council was ramping up its efforts for summer. It had only had access to allocated Kauri money since July, and it was challenging to police an area with 1 million visitors and 90 entrances.
The closures that we've got in place are unprecedented. We haven't closed anything of this scale anywhere else in New Zealand to deal with one of these types of problems.
The Waitakere Rahui team says it managed to carry out its audit with just 20 volunteers, and the council should be able to do so much more. It says every day lost is another day closer to losing the Kauri, and with it the whole Waitakere's forest. I Tāmaki Makaurau mō Checkpoint, ko Rowan Quinn tēnei.